Everyone. I hope you all are doing amazing today. Welcome to my IG Live Part 16 interview series. I am so excited. Today, I have the absolute honor and privilege, and our guest is here. I just got so excited. I have the absolute honor and privilege of interviewing such an icon. He is so talented. I'm going to get right into it. Everyone, give it up for the wonderful, the incredible Mr. I'm so excited for today, everyone. I cannot wait. Hi, Adam.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you? It looks like we match. Well, you wearing yellow sort of too? Yeah.
Yes, I love your yellow colors.
Yes, I'm trying to be very happy and optimistic by wearing neon yellow.
I know. I'm literally doing, cartwheels and just yellow. Let's bring out the positive energy.
I know. I'm an 80s baby, so to speak. So I love anything that's a throwback to the 80s. So neon is it, and my crazy big hair, a la Barry Gibb is it. So
I love it.
Yes.
Okay, Adam, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I am so honored.
Well, I thank you for asking me. I'm thrilled. What is number 16? What am I, number 16?
Number 16.
Okay. That's
I am so excited. And everyone, now that Adam Glassman is here, I'm going to give him the proper introduction that he deserves. So everyone, this is Adam Glassman, the amazing, the talented, the incredible creative director at the Oprah Winfrey Magazine. And yes, and O Magazine is actually currently celebrating their 20th anniversary, which is so incredible. And you have been there since 2000?
I have been there since 2000. I came in the first two issues were not monthly, they were bi-monthly. So I came issue 3.
That is so incredible.
I have a lot of gray hair to show it, so it's about 20 years we're going on.
Yes. And everyone, Adam has also worked at incredible magazines like Home and Garden and Self, and he's been the contributing editor. And so, Adam, I have 3 questions I would love to ask you about your journey. And so first, did you always know growing up that you wanted to get into the creative design world?
I always knew that I was creative and had vision.
Yes.
I had no idea what I wanted. To be really quite frank, times very different. You apply to college, you're just like, oh, what college do I want to go to? Unless you really knew you wanted to be a lawyer or a doctor, we sort of were a veterinarian or something to that effect. You just went to college and you figured it out. But I will say, when I wrote my college essay, my dreams at that time were to have a nightclub, a restaurant, and a magazine. Which is interesting. I quickly realized, and this was the late 80s, and I grew up in New York, so restaurants more or less were sort of like the new nightclubs at that time. Like there were all these hot restaurants that people went and they hung out. So I was really into the culture of restaurants, but I don't like food enough. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to really... But a nightclub I was very into because I went out since I've been 13 years old to places that you're not supposed to go when you're 13, of course. And I was a doorman at many clubs, but I also realized I like to go to bed early, so a nightclub, like, check it off. I did.
Yes.
I can't own a nightclub, but magazines, literally since high school, I've been obsessed with magazines. I've been collecting magazines, been ripping things out of magazines, and I always wanted to work in a magazine and partake in a magazine. But in college, I was into photography. I was a Spanish major, believe it or not. But I can't speak Spanish, so I realized that's not a wise thing. And I got into communications and business. And I really thought I was going to go to law school. Actually, Megan, I applied to law school. I thought I was going to go to law school. My father is a lawyer. So somewhere in my mind, I thought I should be a lawyer too. And he said, why would you ever do this? You are not cut out to be a lawyer, and you don't want to be a lawyer. And I was like, really? But you're a lawyer. He goes, well, it works for me. I don't think it's going to work for you. What is your passion?
Interesting.
And photography and design were really, and that was it. I've been
That's
doing it ever since.
I love that. And that's so, I mean, I really relate to that too because for me, growing up, I always felt very anxious. I struggled with a lot of anxiety, panic attacks. I never, felt good about myself or comfortable in my own skin. And I mean, O magazine, things like just so magazines for me, it was my escape. Every day I would come home from middle school, high school, and just run to my room and open it up, and just I felt like I was entering a whole other world of just I felt so safe and I felt so inspired by, there's people in a different continent, in a different country who are like me and are feeling this way. And so I also really agree.
Yeah, well, that's what we always wanted to do with O Magazine in particular. It really opened attention was to make a manual for women to learn to live their best lives and to show that all women, no matter what their age, what their size, what their color, where they grew up or how they grew up, we are all alike. All women are alike. And all human beings really are alike, but ours is mostly a women's magazine. But that's the intention behind the magazine. So that really when a young woman like yourself opens it up, and your mother and your grandmother open it up, you all can see a bit of yourself in the magazine. And the magazine acts as a mirror to you to show you that there are a lot of people like ourselves out there.
Yes.
And that you're not alone. And no matter what the situation is, this is a unique magazine because we're a lifestyle magazine that deals with a lot of internal stuff. It also deals with a lot of, like the O list, Oprah's picks of great things. That's not necessarily internal, but that is also brings you joy and life and excitement. So that's Oprah's whole thing, that everything is internal as well as external.
I mean, O Magazine is so powerful because I just can't, I feel like words aren't doing this justice, but I really truly mean it when, if I ever feel anxious or something or triggered or just, I feel like I'm in a funk, I will just open up the pages and growing up, so many actual moments of me coming home from school, I didn't do well on this test or I struggled with panic attacks that day and I just wanted to get through it. And then my body knew like, oh my gosh, seventh period, I got to go home and open up that magazine. My mom is the biggest Oprah fan and
Well,
I just grew up.
I was going to ask you, how did you get turned on to it originally? Your mother had a subscription?
My mother had a subscription, and she would watch every day when I got home at 2:30 p.m. Oprah was on. It was always reruns on, and this is in 2010, 2011. I was 14 years old, and Super Soul Sunday, I just remember my mom was like, Megan, this is important. Just watch what she has to say. And I remember thinking, why can't Oprah be my teacher? Why can't Oprah work at my high school? Because the things that she's saying, it's so powerful, and the people she's interviewing, and I mean, it really, really, really changed my life.
Oh, that's amazing because you are actually what we refer to as an Oprah baby, really a child of someone who grew up watching the show, and truthfully, when we first launched the magazine, everyone thought, oh, the person who's going to read this magazine is exactly the same demographic as the woman who's watching the show. And she tended to be older than you because she was at home at either 2:30 or 4 o'clock New York time. She wasn't in school. But as it turns out, we have an equal amount of women that are your age and your mom's age and your grandmother's age that read this magazine. And because it's about a psychographic rather than truly. And I'm amazed now how many people, Oprah, has been off the air for many years now, but people your age to give college commencement speeches and people are, resonate with what she has to say. So we're thrilled with that.
I mean, it's timeless, really. It will go on for eons and decades, and the nuggets of wisdom, the advice, the conversations. And I love how many people, stories, and just a variety of things are in the magazine, on the show, in the network, because everyone, like you said, can connect to something and feel heard, understood, seen, and think, oh, I'm not the only person feeling this way. I'm not, this is a real thing and I feel validated, and just that feeling saves lives.
Yeah, it does. And you nailed it on the head. In reality, most people just want to be heard. They want to be. They don't always want to be seen, but they want to be heard. Because a lot of people like to hide, or think they're hiding from people. But the truth is, everyone sees you for who you are. You're the only person that doesn't fully see yourself, for the most part. But everyone else really sees you. You think you're hiding something from people, but most people can really see what you're all about. But truthfully, most people want to be heard.
I love that. And I really, before I get into the next question, Adam, I really agree with what you said. I think people want someone to hold the space for them and to say, I understand you, and just tell me how you're feeling, rather than, oh, well, no, you're feeling this way. I think people like just having a place, a person, a thing to just, pour their heart out and to feel, oh, wow,
Acknowledge is what it is. They just want to be acknowledged. You don't always have to agree with them. You don't always have to encourage them so much. They just need a venting place. They need to know that whatever they said, someone heard. Now, the tricky part about this is that a lot of people then feel like you have to agree with what I said. And that creates another kind of dynamic, but that's what life is about.
Yes, that's so true. Okay, so Adam, question number 2. So, in your incredibly amazing career, have you had a moment where it felt like, I'm here, like my dreams are happening, kind of that surreal out-of-body epiphany moment where, oh my gosh, when I was a younger boy, just that kind of connection moment?
Well, I have had that for all 20 years of my career, actually, at Oprah, to be honest with you, because this magazine brought together all of my interests, from photography to fashion to beauty to spirituality to mental awareness. It really brought everything together. So it's a dream job for me, and has been for the last years, if you can hear me. So, but I will say also, and I'm around Oprah a lot, and I've seen her, and everyone always says what she's really like, and my thing is, if you have watched Oprah or seen her, you know her as well as I do. I just see her or speak to her more often.
Right.
So what you see is what you get. But I will say I'm always blown away, and I always learn something from her every time I see her, whether it's a one, or if I go to, like, I went to the WW tour, and I always learn a new piece of information, a nugget of truth, something. So every time I'm in the presence of her, I'm always like, yeah, that's why you're Oprah. Yeah, I get.
Yeah.
Like, even if I've heard the stories before, there's a new takeaway for me.
Wow.
And things different, so that's a big thing for me, I guess, if that answers your question. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I feel like my 14-year-old self is like, oh my God. That fully answered it. That's incredible.
You should always hold on to that 14-year-old self, except for if you had trauma in any stage. But you should always hold on to that young person's sense of self. I think a lot of people forget to do that. A lot of people forget to play and have fun and feel alive. You have to remind yourself, and especially now during these times, I think it's a really good time to try to get out of your head of fear and isolation and loneliness and all this stuff that we're all feeling to a certain extent. You have to remind yourself to play. And I think that's, the universe has actually brought us all together to
Yes.
remind us about things that we've allowed to ignore.
Ooh, that's amazing, Adam. Oh my gosh. What you just said, I'm like a light bulb
No,
moment.
you have to think about that. There's a bigger reason for all this happening. So it has something to do with the planet. It has something to do with spirituality. It's a lot of different things. Now, we're in a crappy time. I mean, really, it's horrible. It depends on what state you're in. It depends on what county you're in. It depends on how isolated you've chosen to be. But everyone, there are lessons to be learned during this time, I think.
I fully agree. I wrote this is something when I was younger, my dad, he also has struggled with anxiety his whole life. And he always said, Megan, this is happening for you, not to you. This is a blessing. This is a blessing. This is a blessing. And he's like, he would drill that into my mind. And it wasn't until my early 20s where I actually understood it myself. I really was, oh no, but anxiety for me, I view it as a blessing because every day I have the opportunity to work on myself and to always be an improvement.
You're very lucky that your father taught you that. You're very lucky. You should thank him. And the fact that you were able to absorb it, maybe not at that time that he was saying it all the time, but at a young age that you are, that is, that's a blessing, honestly. That is a blessing.
Yes, I feel very lucky. My parents both have always been so, just exuding, warmth and positivity. And they always said, Oprah my mom is she requoted Oprah all the time. So she would always say, Megan, reach for the stars. Anything is possible. And, you can create anything that you want. And she would also always say, because my whole family is just this family of quotes, but she would also always say, because her father used to just be, like a sage, just such good advice all the time. And he used to say, how you do in life is up to you.
Yeah. How you do. It's true. I think a lot of people don't fully realize that. I think a lot of people don't own themselves, own their emotions, own their feelings, take responsibility for where they are right now. Because we all have the possibility of change and shift of perspective. But I think a lot of people get so stuck in a dark place. And sometimes it's hard to get out of, and sometimes I get out of it. But there is a choice that we can make. There is a choice. But a lot of people like to do the old blame game and point fingers and not look at themselves and what is their role in their own life.
That's so true. It's the blame game, it's like you're going to go off into a spiral. You're going to take flight into a different dimension of constantly, oh, that person, and blaming outside circumstances and people. But it's like, you're right. You will feel when you take responsibility for, oh no, everyone is playing a part in this life that's a movie. Everyone is a role and a character. So what am I doing?
No, I know. I always have to remind myself to sort of step back and be a witness to what is going on, not ignore it. You still have to participate in life, but you still have to be a witness at the same time. So you have to be a witness and you have to be a player. So this film, this theater, this thing of life is going on, but you have to be able to also step back and see where everyone is and how you fit into it, truly.
Yeah.
Like even to go back to the blame game and the taking responsibility, there's a lot of people that blame without even realizing they're blaming. They just are always making up excuses and saying things, but they don't realize that's actually like trying to deflect from whatever the situation is. They have no idea. There are people that are always blaming on purpose, but most people have no idea that they're even doing it.
Yes. Oh, that's so true. And really quickly,
my friend Elaine Thomas is on. She's laughing at us right now.
Hi, Elaine.
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk to you for 400 days straight. You have the most amazing energy ever.
Well, no, I think it's because of you. Because again, I think because of your own energy, you attract like-minded people. So all of us attract like-minded people. Think about people who are in crummy relationships time and time and time again. They are bringing that energy to them, to themselves, because that is something that they have within themselves. So until you could like stop mirroring the shitty things in your life, can I say shitty? Sorry.
Of course.
You know, you have to start realizing these things. I don't know. It's fascinating to me. It's usually, I will say, and I've done a lot of work on myself various ways, but I think for the most part, you end up attracting people in your life. I don't mean just in a intimate relationship, but you attract the parent in your life that was not able to give you what you thought you needed the most.
Wow.
Not for a second, but you usually attract the qualities of the parent that didn't give you what you wanted the most. And until you really work on yourself and realize, okay, I have everything within myself. You cannot meet the parent who did give you it, but you were never aware of it.
Wow. I mean,
It's a lot to sort of meditate on, but think about how you hear from, let's say, girlfriends that have dated their father time and time and time again. Some cases, it's a good situation. In most cases, it probably isn't. I'm not just saying the father, it could have been their mother. But until they work on that and figure that out, they'll meet their mother or their father, so to speak, and that will be the right relationship. I'm not sure how we got into this. Sorry, Megan.
No, I was gonna say I could talk about life, the universe for eons.
Yeah. Me too.
It is so fascinating. Okay, Adam. Last question. So, what is something on your bucket list, a huge dream goal of yours that you still want to try, still want to, just seek it out?
Skydive. How about that? I still want to skydive. I know that's insane and that's very trite to say that, but and I still always want to dream big. Truthfully, I always want to dream big, and sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget that. Sometimes I get so caught up in my teeny tiny little life of myself that I forget there's a much larger world out there. So, and I'd like to go to Australia too. I feel like Australia has always called me. I just haven't been there yet. So that's that kind of thing. But I think the ability to always change and learn and be open.
Yes.
That I always want to be doing until I take my last breath. And I think that's really what everyone should aim for.
I love that. And Adam, I really, 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 really loved what you said about just holding on to that 14-year-old self, because for me, that is the age when 14 to 16, where I just, so many certain shows and movies and magazines really helped me through a hard time. And then now at 24, I'm talking with you. I mean, it's like I feel like this is somehow manifested from all those years. So now I'm like,
well, it has.
Yeah.
You understand that. You understand what you put out there comes back to you in bigger fold. So you have manifested. And by the way, this was easy breezy for you, me, whatever. I'm nothing in the game of life, but you will manifest much larger. Trust me, I could see it.
No, but this is so special. I am soaking in this moment. I'm like.
Well, I'm going to quote Oprah right now. Dream bigger. Megan, dream bigger.
Oh my gosh. I love that, and that's what my mom also says to me all the time. She's like, Megan, God has a bigger plan. Dream bigger, like go bigger. And I'm like, okay.
Than you could ever imagine for. True. It's true.
That's amazing. Because I always think, like for me naturally, I can overthink. I can get caught up in the little details of, well, what does that person think of me, and what is that person doing, and am I going to be at their level? But it's like, Megan, I always bring it back to this. Megan, what would your 14-year-old self do right now if she knew that she, all these incredible things are happening for her? She would be doing jumping jack, like flipping, just jumping for joy, screaming at the top of her lungs, running up and down staircases, crying tears of joy. So I'm like, that's what I should be doing.
Okay, that's good. I think that's good.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, Adam, thank you so much for taking the time during this crazy quarantine to chat.
I'm so happy to do it. Wait, I feel like I have to scream, Megan. I'm so happy to do that.
And our yellow,
in our highlighter, I know, our bright yellow. That is so, that's called synchronistic moment, or synchrodestiny, that we're both wearing the same thing.
That is so true. We're having so many.
Because I rarely wear bright colors. That's the funny thing. But I looked in my closet. It's a little gray here in New York, and I just thought I needed this to sort of just help my mood, so to speak.
That is really funny you say that too, because I'm not kidding. But I looked at my suitcase and I was like, you know what? I want to just make this. I want to be like sunshine in human form. I want to, be bright.
You are. Even if you were in black, you'd still be sunshine in human form. But always wear color. Where are you right now? What part of the country are you in?
I am in San Diego, California.
I could never decide if I love San Diego more or Santa Barbara. Because I go to both, and I've been to both a lot, and they both are fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Where are you, Adam?
I'm in upstate New York.
I love that. And do you kind of separate your time between New York, California?
Well, I travel to California a lot for work, but it's never on a sort of regular basis. It's not like the third week of every month. I'm just in California a lot. When I'm going to be in California next, because who knows when we can fly or want to fly. Not so much can, but want to fly. Yeah? But I'm very drawn to water. So California always calls my...
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wait, Adam, if you're drawn to water, look at my view right now. It's literally...
Oh my God. I'm so jealous. That's amazing. That's amazing. Every day you just look out and see that?
Well, this is my parents. We're renting a beach house right now because we thought during this quarantine, let's have a party. Let's have fun.
Just the three of you, or do you have siblings there? Any siblings there?
I have one older sister.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. But yes, Adam, you are an absolute gem on this earth. Please continue to wear highlighter yellow because you just look incredible.
Okay. Thank you. I will.
Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you. You are the best. And I hope that you stay healthy and safe during this time and continue to just make others. You make me, I can't even, my cheeks hurt so much from smiling because you've made my day.
Okay. Well, you've made mine, honestly. You have made mine too. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Adam.
Great to see you. Bye.
Good to see you too.